Have you ever considered the complexities of power generation and its economic impacts? Let's journey to Bangladesh, a country that has been grappling with these issues for over a decade, and explore the unintended consequences of an overly optimistic energy policy. Back in 2009, Bangladesh was a country plagued by frequent and chronic power blackouts. The country could only muster a meager 4,000 megawatts of electricity every day, a figure woefully inadequate for its burgeoning economic growth. Criticism was rife, with previous governments lambasted for their failure to provide sufficient power to fuel the country's economic engine. Enter the Awami League. Returning to power in 2009, they pledged to address the power deficit through all means necessary, a promise that would set the stage for a series of events that still reverberate today. To encourage private companies to invest in the power sector, a sector deemed risky at the time, the government introduced subsidies. These subsidies, known as capacity charges and rental payments, were to be awarded to private power plants if the government did not need to buy electricity from them. The premise was simple. The government would calculate the subsidy at 60% of the revenue a plant would generate if it supplied its total capacity to the government, the sole buyer of electricity in Bangladesh. The plan worked. In fact, it worked a little too well. Fast forward to the present day, and Bangladesh has the capacity to produce 28,000 megawatts daily, approximately 40% more than peak demand. However, the success of the scheme has come with a hefty price tag. The government has spent over $9 billion since 2009 subsidizing power firms, according to official records. This is due to an overly optimistic forecast for economic growth, leading to a bloated electricity capacity that the government is committed to paying for. To put it in perspective, consider this analogy put forth by Kandakar Gholam Moazzem, an industrial economist at the Center for Policy Dialogue. He likens the situation to a wedding party where you've catered for 10,000 guests, but only half show up. Yet you're still on the hook for the costs of the absent guests. In 2022 alone, the government paid a staggering $7.5 billion to 82 large private producers as a capacity charge, and $2.8 billion to smaller oil-fired power producers as rental payment. Yet despite this surplus capacity, Bangladesh still suffers from blackouts. Why? The government is rationing US dollars by limiting the import of fuel needed to generate electricity. The country faces a shortage of fuel resources like gas and coal, made worse by global events such as the Ukraine war, causing a surge in prices. This is the paradox at the heart of Bangladesh's power situation: a surplus of electricity production capacity, yet a shortage of the fuel needed to generate that electricity. And all the while, the government continues to pay for this excess capacity, with subsidies reaching over 40%. In summary, Bangladesh's power saga serves as a cautionary tale about the potential pitfalls of overly optimistic planning. It illustrates the importance of accurate forecasting and policymaking, and the perils of overcapacity in power generation. As we move towards a future where energy sustainability and security are paramount, the lessons from Bangladesh's experience are more relevant than ever.